protections to let them know that they can go to their job and they're going to have the maximum of protection from us. But I do not want to protect a bad cop. I do not want to protect a corrupt cop. I don't want to protect a management system that covers up for bad cops. We need a system with integrity. And you're the person today who can deliver it. And I say, get to work.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
May I respond to the supervisor? Because the point you make, I agree with everything you said. We have an inspector general. We now have an ordinance passed. He's got to get to work. And he's got to satisfy this board and to satisfy you that he's meeting your expectations as he moves forward with reports to this board.
Where's the reports?
He's just starting, and
Just passed the ordinance today.
We just passed the ordinance today to empower him, and he has been hiring. He's been setting up that office. But the point I'm making is that if you had a civilian commission in place and had him report to that civilian commission, you would not be able to monitor whether or not he's meeting your expectations.
Why wouldn't we?
Whether you have the
Why wouldn't he, Rick? Why wouldn't we?
because you would have him report to somebody other than this board.
That doesn't mean it couldn't be monitored. The commission is appointed by the board, presumably.
I think you put a commission between yourself
Another layer.
and the inspector general. You lose the ability to really monitor what he's doing and whether it's meeting this board's expectations.
Of course, with the 950,000 other things we have to do that we can't even sustain attention on as it is. That's one of the compelling arguments. This is a practical consideration. We cannot pay enough attention to the sheriff's department, the IG, or the sheriff himself. That's why we need help. And that's why there are commissions all over the nation. And so it shocks me, frankly, that you would argue otherwise. It's very practical. It's not ideological. Do we want accountability or not? Accountability can be reduced to an abstraction.
I agree with you. It's not an ideological issue because I think we all agree for the need of civilian oversight, and I think it's just a question of what's the best format in the next year, taking into account the political structure that we have in the county. I would be very supportive of state legislation that provided for a commission that had real power, real oversight over law enforcement. But that's a big step, and that's a real ways away to have that. In the interim, the question is, are we going to have a commission that really has no authority, that puts itself between this board and the Inspector General, and I think ultimately makes it much more difficult for this board to determine whether or not the Inspector General's office is meeting expectations. I understand the many obligations and responsibilities that this board has, but there is no county institution that has more authority, moral authority, political authority, power than this board.